The story of Steve Jobs didn't begin with luxury, but with a humble and questioning start. Adopted as a baby, this fact perhaps instilled in him a deep curiosity about his identity and life's purpose. Steve grew up in Mountain View, California, an area that would later become the heart of Silicon Valley. From a young age, he displayed unique traits: boundless curiosity, a tendency to question everything, and a rebellious spirit against rigid rules. He was not a student who conformed to the traditional school system. He often felt bored and unchallenged, preferring to spend his time outside of class exploring his own interests. However, beneath his sometimes difficult-to-manage demeanor lay a sharp intellect and a great fascination with the burgeoning world of technology. He was captivated by electronics, often visiting component stores and electronics workshops. His fateful meeting with Steve Wozniak, a brilliant engineer older than him, became a crucial turning point. Wozniak was a circuit expert who could build anything, while Jobs possessed the vision and ability to see how technology could change the world. The two of them, two different yet complementary souls, often spent time together, discussing computers and the future. They were two young men dissatisfied with the status quo, dreaming of bringing the power of computing from large laboratories into the hands of every person, an idea that at the time was considered highly radical and almost impossible. From the garage of Jobs' parents' home, with a messy workbench and piles of electronic components, the seeds of a technological revolution began to be sown. This was a simple beginning, yet filled with immense potential from two young men who dared to dream beyond limits. Inside the cramped garage, filled with the smell of solder, Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak found their moment of enlightenment. Computers at that time were large, complex machines, accessible only to scientists or large corporations. However, Wozniak succeeded in creating a revolutionary circuit board, a much smaller and more affordable computer. For Wozniak, it was an engineering masterpiece. For Jobs, it was more than just circuits. It was a computer for the people. Jobs saw unlimited potential. He envisioned a world where everyone could have a computer at home, a tool not just for calculations, but for creativity, communication, and learning. This idea initially sounded crazy to many. How could such a complex machine become a household item? Yet, Jobs had unwavering conviction. He believed that beautiful design and intuitive user experience were the keys to bringing this technology into everyone's hands. That moment of enlightenment wasn't just about creating hardware, but about shifting a paradigm. It was a vision to democratize technology, to make computers a part of everyday life, not just tools for experts. With this burning vision, they decided to found their own company, a company that would become an icon of innovation, Apple Computer. Apple's journey was far from smooth. After founding the company, Jobs and Wozniak faced countless struggles. They needed capital to mass-produce computers, but many investors rejected their idea, deeming it too risky or even ridiculous. They had to sell personal belongings, including Wozniak's beloved calculator and Jobs' car, just to secure initial capital. Even after securing investment, challenges continued to arise. They had to compete with established technology giants. Their early products, like the Apple I and Apple II, did achieve success, but the pressure to continue innovating was immense. Jobs was known as a very demanding leader, both of himself and his team. He had extremely high standards for quality and design, which often led to internal tension and conflict. Many doubted his unconventional approach. The peak of their struggle came with the Macintosh project. Jobs was incredibly passionate about this computer, envisioning a machine that was not only powerful, but also beautiful and easy to use, with a revolutionary graphical interface. However, the development of the Macintosh was fraught with drama, delays, and ballooning costs. Pressure from the board of directors and senior management intensified. Ultimately, this tension reached its climax, and in a shocking decision, Steve Jobs, the founder, was fired from the company he himself built. This was the biggest and most painful rejection of his life, a devastating blow that could have crushed anyone's spirit. Being fired from Apple was a low point for Steve Jobs, yet it became a catalyst for extraordinary learning and adaptation. He did not give up on the world of technology. Instead, he used that bitter experience as an opportunity to reflect and start a new chapter. He founded a new computer company called Next with the goal of creating more advanced computers for higher education and business. Although Next never achieved great commercial success, the project gave him the freedom to experiment with technology and design without corporate limitations. He learned a lot about team management, product development, and the importance of focus. In addition to Next, Jobs also made a significant investment that demonstrated his ability to adapt outside the computer field. He bought the graphics division of Lucasfilm, which he then transformed into Pixar Animation Studios. At Pixar, Jobs not only provided capital, but also created an environment that fostered creativity and innovation. He learned about the entertainment industry, about storytelling, and about the power of collaboration between artists and technology. At Next, he honed his skills in creating sophisticated software and operating systems, while at Pixar, he understood the importance of engaging content and emotional user experiences. This period was a time when Jobs grew, learned from past mistakes, and prepared himself for greater challenges in the future, though he was not yet aware of it. After years away from Apple, destiny called Jobs back. Apple, the company he founded, was on the verge of collapse. Its products were confusing, its innovation stagnant, and its market share was continuously shrinking. In a move that surprised many, Apple acquired Next, and as part of the deal, Steve Jobs returned to Apple, initially as an advisor, then as interim CEO. Jobs' return was a highly anticipated breakthrough moment. He immediately took control and began a major overhaul. He cut unnecessary product lines, simplified the company's focus, and most importantly, he restored the spirit of innovation that had long been lost. His first small victory, which marked Apple's resurgence, was the launch of the iMac in 1998. The iMac was a bold statement. With its transparent, colorful design and unique form, the iMac defied all personal computer conventions of the time. It wasn't just a functional computer, it was an object of art, a device that was pleasing to look at and use. The iMac quickly became a huge hit, capturing the attention of consumers worldwide and demonstrating that Apple still had the ability to create revolutionary products. The success of the iMac was a signal that Steve Jobs was back, and he was ready to lead Apple into a new golden age. This was a small victory that paved the way for a larger revolution. After Apple's resurgence with the iMac, Steve Jobs didn't stop. He led Apple through a series of innovations that transformed industry after industry, bringing the company to unprecedented heights of success. First, he launched the iPod in 2001. At a time when people were still carrying mini CDs or large music players, the iPod offered thousands of songs in your pocket. It wasn't just hardware. Jobs also launched the iTunes Store, creating a new model for buying music legally and easily. This combination of hardware and service revolutionized the music industry, making it more accessible and enjoyable. Then, in 2007, Jobs introduced the iPhone. This was a world-changing moment. The iPhone was not just a phone. It was a beautiful handheld computer, a music player, and an internet device, all in one intuitive package. With its revolutionary touchscreen and the App Store that allowed developers to create unlimited applications, the iPhone created a new product category and changed the way we interact with mobile technology forever. Innovation continued with the iPad in 2010, which created the tablet market and changed the way we consume media and interact with digital content. Under Jobs' leadership, Apple didn't just sell products, they sold experiences, a lifestyle, and the philosophy that technology should be beautiful, easy to use, and empower its users. Apple became the most valuable company in the world, and its products became an inseparable part of the lives of billions of people, leaving a profound impact on culture, communication, and the way we work and play. Steve Jobs left an indelible legacy, not only in the form of iconic products, but also in profound philosophies and life lessons. One of the most important lessons is the importance of vision and the courage to follow one's intuition. Jobs always believed in connecting the dots in the future, even when others couldn't see it. He was not afraid to think differently and challenge the status quo. Another lesson is the obsession with detail and perfection. Jobs believed that design was not just about appearance, but about how something worked and felt. He pushed his team to achieve perfection, even in things unseen by the naked eye. This was a dedication to unparalleled quality and user experience. He also taught about resilience and the ability to bounce back from failure. Being fired from Apple was a devastating blow, but he turned it into an opportunity to learn and grow, eventually returning to save and elevate his company. This is proof that failure is not the end, but part of the journey to success. Steve Jobs' legacy is a world that is more connected, more intuitive, and more beautiful through technology. He showed that true innovation comes from the fusion of art and science, from a deep understanding of human needs, and from the courage to stay hungry, stay foolish in pursuing dreams. His story is a reminder that a single individual with a strong vision and extraordinary perseverance can change the world.